DC here. Hi, guys and gals. Well, I hope you're well. It is Sunday afternoon. What time is it? It's 20 past 4, and it is about 30 degrees. Yeah. Well, it's at least 30 degrees. On my watch it says 30, but it could be a little bit warmer than that because the temperature is not taken exactly where I am sitting right now. Albeit I am under the nut tree here, so the walnut tree, and it's not bad here actually. It's quite comfortable, and I told Mrs. DC I'm gonna come out for a vlog, and we'll be going out when it's a little bit cooler. We'll probably go out like towards the evening. We'll go out for a little walk, but right now it's not really all that interesting for a walk. Oh, well, actually you can you see it? Yeah, there's the bird house up there, but there's no birds in it right now. Yeah, they've fled the coop, and now they're off, so yeah, we'll see. Oh, for those of you who keep track, I am wearing my Guinness hat on, so it's, what is it called, those hats? They're called a trilby, something like that. Yeah, I got it in Dublin, this one. And it's part of the Guinness. Guinness has a whole series of souvenir type things, and they had, well, actually quite rarely they had the hat, and this hat as such, it's the only time I actually saw it. I'm really glad I bought it, because at the time I was wondering, I wore it actually on the plane because I didn't want to squish it in my bags and stuff like that. But I'm glad I got it, because I've never seen one since. I'm not saying there aren't, but they have caps, so flat caps, but I've never actually seen one like this. Anyway, you know how it is sometimes. Sometimes you see something and you think like, well, I'd like it, but I'll get it the next time. So then sometimes you think like, yeah, let's just get it, because maybe there won't be one the next time. And this kind of feel like this was one of those times. Oh yeah. Well, we were at church today, and they had technical problems. Somebody from some mission organization brought over, I don't know exactly, because he brought over his computer or something for his videos, and he, I don't know why the guys thought that or something, but they had a problem, and it was a VGA plug or something, and I said, what? Don't you guys have a USB stick? I mean, I don't do the technical stuff over there. And I think actually at first nobody had one, and for whatever reason, maybe the ones that they had were gone or full or whatever. I don't know. Finally, I guess they got around the problem and just simply copied whatever it was. There were PowerPoints and videos and stuff like that. And yeah, sometimes it's delicate. I mean, I've noticed that for what we put online, sometimes we have to be careful, because there's discussions of sensitive material about people, that shouldn't actually always be online. And I just mean it so that they don't get additional persecution. And this was the case in a village in Mali. That's pretty much all I'll say right now. And where there was, persecution of somebody that changed faith. Put it that way. We'll just leave it at that. But yeah, not always easy things. I mean, there are things going on in the world right now. People think that it's sometimes people think that persecutions are over. Well, they aren't. They aren't actually, and it's on large scale at sometimes, and we don't always hear about it, do we? Yeah. Anyway, there's a lot going on in the world today, which I won't vlog about it much, but there is a lot going on, and which will certainly have a lot to do with the way, the markets, the safety, if people will feel maybe traveling, things like that. There'll be, yeah, I think that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for short period, and it's probably a necessary thing. Sometimes sometimes certain countries need to, I was almost going to say need to learn a lesson, I guess, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But I think it's going to be interesting, intense times ahead. Yeah. Oh. For those of you who pray, prayers are needed. Yes. And you know what? Pray for God's will if you're a praying person. Because I know that some praying persons are not always, I might not even be aligned. We're not all aligned, we're all different people. And that's okay. That's actually okay. That people can be different because it's normal. We're not robots. So we're all different. We all have our thoughts on things. Some truths. No, let me rephrase that. Truth is truth, but some things are have been made in a way that you are allowed to have. I was going to say you're allowed to have different opinions anyway, but I mean there are sometimes things in life that it doesn't matter if it's gray. It's so, one has to be so careful. I've been hearing things, I don't know how much it's true or not, but I have been hearing stories, more and more about bots going over basically our speeches on videos, and to see if we're in the right way, or not, and creating problems. I know that there's been that a lot on. At one period, it was quite frequent on Facebook. It might still be, actually. But, like I was saying, getting back to prayer, if you're a praying person, pray for God's will, because actually that's the right thing, not what you want, for God's will. And if it's aligned, that's great. That's great. If it's not aligned, well, God's will take over. Anyway, I'll leave it at that. I guess it's just because it's a Sunday, so I had to go into a little bit of a preaching mode there. Yeah. Well, actually, in a way, because it was Sunday back at church, I had to go over when I will be filming at church on the Sundays. We're changing things. We're only going into one service. We had 2 services per Sunday, and we're going to go back to one. Because basically the early service there was a lot less people, and I was going to say the later service there was probably a touch too many, but there was the young people, and when the young people went down to Sunday school or stuff like that, then there was enough place, put it that way. But it's going to be a lot more full, and for those who are filming like myself, it's actually a bit of a pain. Because you got the kids that go around a little bit, and we try not to put pictures of children online. That's something that has changed a little bit over the years. We weren't so touchy about that, but we are now, that's for sure. So that means that I've been practicing, and many years ago I used to have an add-on to blur out faces, and since I was using Sony Vegas at the time, and now I use Final Cut Pro on the Mac, and Final Cut Pro on the Mac has actually within the program for blurring out faces with tracking, so that's not too bad. I mean, not only blurring out faces, but blurring whatever you want to with tracking, so I'll be doing that. It's an added pain, but people seem to want it that way. Yeah. Okay, this has kind of been almost a downer vlog. Certainly not an ebullient one, to put it that way. But sometimes that's just the way it is. It's the fault of somebody, certainly, that the weather is so hot and that the mood is that way. I'm certain it's somebody's fault. It has to be. Oh yeah. And if it's not, somebody will say it is. Anyway. Oh, let's just leave it at that. Hope you have a great Sunday. It is a good Sunday, actually, and I am enjoying it, albeit I don't particularly enjoy the heat, but I do see it's 10 minutes, so I'm going to stop there, and it'll be DC signing off. Take care and have a good Sunday, everybody. Bye.